already concerns have been raised about the electoral register and how efficient the Electoral Commission should be for the election. A former national youth organizer of the PNC has already again filed a suit against the Electoral Commission at the Supreme Court seeking a declaration that the current electoral register is not credible. We know all the argument that has been raised consistently about the electoral register. What's your thought on this? Especially looking at the fact that the EC also has come out with a certain timetable of which you, the members of parliament, are very much privy to.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that I perceive a certain agenda to make elections in November almost difficult or impossible by our friends on the other side.
Impossible not to convene or create an impossible atmosphere, an acrimonious atmosphere?
An impossible atmosphere, acrimonious atmosphere out of that and all. Because you see, I think I also overheard a certain leading political figure indicate that he's unsure if the November 7th timetable for the general elections can hold. Okay?
No, what's wrong with that? That's his opinion.
That is his opinion. And then that opinion might be precipitated on a certain agenda.
And what agenda is that?
Now, look at it. Abu Ramdan, brother-in-law of the NPP running mate, Dr. Bawumia, took a matter to court, withdrew the matter subsequently. And now we have Nana Bedu, who is his current lawyer, you know, trying to say that now they only wanted to amend the case they took to court. You know, and the amendment that they're seeking to add or they've added is all driving to a certain scenario that would even make it near impossible for us to hold elections on the 7th of November.
What kind of conspiracy theory is it?
No, it's not conspiracy. Just read what is
in
what
your
they put
estimation.
Out.
In your estimation,
No.
Do you agree that we have a problem with the electoral register?
Of course, there are problems with every electoral register, not only in Ghana.
Don't generalize. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you
and that has been recognized. That has been recognized. That has been admitted by all that there are problems, but there are mechanisms that have been put in place, as it were, to really, you know, make the register largely credible for the elections that we're going to hold. We must admit that all the elections we've held, there have been irregularities. We cannot have a perfect register. Let's be mindful of that. And so that I think that at this point we should just allow the Electoral Commission the free hand, you know, to do the tidying up and all, such that we can have a smooth process. But then if people begin to have the feeling that they are on the path that is leading to failure, then if you, they must put in place mechanisms, as it were, to make the process difficult. It is said that if you cannot beat them, and you feel you cannot join them, confuse the whole process.
So you think that's the agenda?
And that is exactly what my friends on the other side are doing. I think this shoot by the brother-in-law of Dr. Bawumia, the NPP flag bearer, you know, is all intended.
And he's also a brother of one of your parliamentary candidates.
Oh, yes, that notwithstanding. But then when you look at the gentleman Abu Ramadan, you know, he was also my student.
I know.
Yes. He clearly, from all his activities for some time now, there's a clear indication that he's more NPP than PNC.
Abu Ramadan is not here to speak to that, so you can't sit here and say that he's more NPP than
that is my view, that's my opinion.
PNC.
All right. At the end of the day, it's because you perceive that the Electoral Commission and the posture that the Commission is assuming gives you something to worry about. But I'm also saying this because we have hindsight. The last election and the activities preceding that very election, that doesn't give us a very good account as to how hopeful we should look forward to the next election, does it?
Well, in the first place, let me say that the Electoral Commission is not being run by the MPP. And we don't set dates for elections. We don't set dates for limited registration.
Or other activities.
Or other activities. The Electoral Commission that came out with a date. And they have postponed the limited registration to another date based on what I don't know. The Electoral Commission set up a committee which has...
To what date? Is it not only a month?
No, I think it's a month. That's for 4 weeks from the first date. That's quite a long time. Because if you
so
have...
it will be in April instead of March?
Late April to early May.
Yeah.
If you have a timetable that you are following and you decide to go beyond that date, that's their decision. It didn't come from the MPP, and I don't think it came from IPAC itself. Now, the EC, may I ask this question? The commissioner, having they accepted the fact that there are irregularities in the voters' register, why did she put together a team of, you know,
5 eminent persons? 5
eminent persons to look into the issue that the MPP brought. They came out with their recommendations. Is she following the recommendations or not? Abu Ramdan is a citizen of this country. He has every right to seek interpretations in court. And he's also joined by another legal practitioner, Mr. Kwame Bafo.
Is it Evans Nimako?
Apart from Evans Nimako, there's another legal practitioner, Mr. Kwame Bafo, earlier this week also filed a suit asking the Supreme Court to declare that the current National Voters Register compiled by the EC and intended to be used for the 2016 general election is bloated and hence unfit for use in the general elections. Is my brother telling me that Mr. Kwame Bafo is also an MPP associate? So this time, whoever goes to court or whoever tries to seek interpretation in some direction in our law court is perceived to be an MPP. That doesn't hold water. Let's look at the facts of the case. Is the register bloated or not? Why did the Electoral Commissioner herself come out to say that in Ashanti region it's been bloated by so and so figures, in Volta region it's been bloated by so and so figures, in other trying to give us figures? Why did she come out to say that? Based on the recommendations, based on her committee's report, based on the research that they've done, based on the...
But the committee did not make conclusions. They said they thought that the current status quo as it is, using the processes as enshrined in the law to weed out whether it's double or minus, etc.
Whether it's double...
It's not the best way to go.
It's not. Whether it's double...
But they did not conclude that the best way is to have a new register.
They did not conclude. But they said they should validate it. Yeah. They should validate it.
Okay.
They should ensure that those who are there...
Let me ask you this. Let me just run by you this. Do you think, for all the experiences that you have, having gone through, and I've known you for a lot of years, you've been an assemblywoman before here in Accra.
Yeah.
I've interacted with you severally. You've been able to hold elections, participate in elections, win a seat representing your people. Do you think that is it because by the sheer imagination of the numbers of perceived people who may have registered or are minors, etc. in the register, as a result that we need a new register?
I would say we need a new register. One, because we are not talking about only minors here. We are talking about foreigners on our register.
We do understand that. But
we are talking about
the
disease on the register.
By which we
are talking about minors on the... How are you going to weed them out?
Oh, no, if you have any difficulty, the law says identify. You fill a form, you go through the processes or whatever.
And that process is going to take us another 5 years to go through that.
Okay.
5 years. I'm telling you, because in the first place, Roland.
Yes, please.
From time immemorial, we started elections as far back in 1992. And all these years, we've been using our teachers as presiding members or electoral officers for the process. Why did they have to change from the teachers to using other people?
In the last election.
In the last election. This has cost us all these things. Because you go to the polling stations at that time.
If we correct that and we use the teachers back, would you be satisfied?
I think that would be a starting point.
Okay. Yeah, clearly, talking about weeding out an unworthy register, weeding out the names that ought not to be
who are not worthy to be in the register.
Exactly. And my sister thinks that would take us about 5 years. Then how long will it take us to compile a new register if you should start now? How many months do we have to the general elections? So that is why...
What process does it take? You compile...
You compile, it takes time.
You display, you put together...
You put together, you display.
We need... You correct.
How many months in Nigeria used to compile a new register?
Please.
How many months?
The register has been compiled in this country before. It's not going to take us 3 months to do that. Are you getting my point?
It depends on how we go about it.
It's not going to even take us 6 months to go through all the process to say we are ready for an elections in November. So that if at this point in time, there are some who are doing all they can to invalidate this current register, then the agenda clearly is to prevent us from holding elections on the 7th of November.
Roland, how can we have this agenda? When we want power, when we want to take over from, I'm sorry that I'm also bargaining, but when we want to take over from you, the NDC, and you are telling me that we have an agenda to prevent the election from coming on.
I don't think, and you know, as I do, that you are not ready for power. NPP is not ready for power.
You are not ready to hand over power.
The reason
we
for
are
which,
ready for power. You are not ready to hand over power.
You would want the whole process delayed, because you know too well that in November, there is no way your candidate will beat John Dramani Mahama.
In November, there's no way John Mahama is going to win.
Apart from that.
So don't let us go to that tangent at all.
When elections are not held in November, it also is a recipe for a possible chaos others may want to create.
What are you saying?
No. There's a possibility.
Of what?
No, of people trying to create some disturbances.
With people trying to create some disturbances.
And that is why I think that as a people, let's put away the political clocks, the political clocks that we have, and then look at what will be in the best interest of this nation. Because what is paramount? What is paramount above all else is the peace that we have, that we are enjoying. That we mustn't do anything.
Frida,
untoward to disturb it.
What assurances can we get? And I've practiced media, I think, for the last 15, 16 years. At the end of it, what assurances do we get that when we set a date for compiling a new register, somewhere in a community close to border towns or somewhere hinterland, people will not take minors and go and register. People who are foreigners, so to speak, will not go and register. The political parties, where they have strongholds, will not try to do whatever it is they have to do to make sure they get people onto the register.
Well, the political parties, we all have to be doing the right thing. And when we talk about Volta region, for instance, the instances from Togo, when it comes to Brahafo, the instances from the border towns and things. And I had personal... I had a personal experience the last time when we were compiling the voters register, where people were brought in from Niger. And we had to stop them. There are some reported to the police. There are some that ran away. So there's the possibility that political parties will try to bring people from the neighboring countries to come and register, especially from Togo, which is so close to Volta region. So the onus is on all of us to ensure that we don't bring people from the neighboring countries to register, because they will not decide our fate for us as Ghanaians. It's not the right thing to do, especially minors and foreigners should not be part of our voters register.
I want to give my former boss only 2 minutes. But
and you give me how many?
I'll give you a lot more. So one more question to you. The processes that we have, how on earth would it be possible for somebody, even if the person was a foreigner, let's say came from Mauritania and registered in Ghana, to vote twice, or to even vote at all, or to get even registered?
You see, if our systems are working right, I don't think that should even happen in the first place.
So why are you worried?
But the systems, to me, are not working right. Because if...
So people can vote twice?
But it happened. It happened. So what's the biometric...
Do we have any evidence that people voted twice using the biometric system that we have in the last election in 2012?
I can't really pinpoint to you, but
You can pinpoint. You're speculating.
I'm not speculating too as well. But I know, and the Electoral Commission themselves have come out to say that people tried, or people voted twice.
Yes, people tried.
Yes.
They were not successful.
And some people...
So if you try, you're weeded out. But I'm saying that, do you think that with the current system we have, somebody can vote twice on election day?
It is possible. If the systems are not put in place.
So when I ask that question around, Honorable Koshigan, what they tell me is that people can be bussed into communities and go and register. And people can even vote twice because, for example, you can register in another constituency and go and register in another one because the register is not synchronized until then they have to do something about it by making sure that they take their names out.
Yeah, you see, the system that we ran last elections was tight-proof using the biometric. It weeded out a lot of those But what you're saying, there's nothing impossible in this life. But that could be a rare situation where somebody will vote twice per the system.
But is that not why we have the systems and checks to make sure?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. You know, that rare situation could exist, you know. But I quickly want to touch on a very important issue.
Is it about the registration?
Now, we're talking about people, she mentioned Togo especially and all. But you see, I sit here. There are relations of mine, they are Koshigans, fishing in Togo. What took them there was business. Okay, they are not Togolese. They are Ghanaians.
And so, and so they can find their names in a register somewhere in Keta, as well as in Togo.
No, hang on.
We are not talking about Voltarians resident in Togo.
No,
we are talking about Togolese
who have been brought to Ghana.
We have a situation, and Honorable Frida Pepe knows, that a lot of some of their members in the UK and the US, Ireland, are registered here as voters, and they come down during voting period.
That's a different scenario.
Who says, how different is that from my brother who is in Togo fishing? You know, and he's
Richard Koshiga is a member of parliament for Keta.
We are not talking about
and then also Frida Akosua Prempeh is a member of parliament for Tano now.
We are talking about.
And I'll wait for the AM talk this morning. We're taking a break. When we come back, Becky will be here with entertainment. As always, it's brought to you by Airtel.
I thought you said you were going to give me
No.